Good morning. Thanks for everyone who joined for this meditation this morning. And hi to everyone who will end up watching the video. Every Wednesday morning for November, I give just a few minutes of a talk. I'll catch you up on where I am in the world. I've been on an adventure and talk about the inquiry work that we're doing right now in Nowhere Village. And then around 8 a.m., that should wrap. And I will open it up to those who are here live. If anyone has a share that they'd like to give, we tend to just check in with each other and an opportunity to ask questions about anything I mentioned in the talk or any of the inquiry work we're doing. So thank you for being here. It is November 18th, 2020. We coming up on toward the end of the year, and I've been preparing us for setting intentions for 2021, which we'll be doing over the course of the next few weeks, really kind of getting to the heart of what we would like to step toward. I'm someone who, for a lot of my life, didn't like to set goals or intentions. I imagined it was me just, it was part of this identity I had as being somebody who went with the flow, and I never wanted to cut myself off from options and opportunities. And then I learned that actually that approach was causing me a great deal of suffering, and I would often end up kind of flowed into a weird eddy that wasn't really the right place for me, where I wasn't able to really live my mission, where I wasn't really surrounded necessarily by people who really fed me and nourished me in the way that I need and deserve. And so it's been really powerful for me to learn that we can actually listen for wisdom about the path ahead, and that doesn't have to be an authentic or forced thing at all. And that we can kind of set our compass, set our sights, pick a point on the map and take an adventure. It's always an adventure. It's never a straight line, but take an adventure to get somewhere where we're really meant to be. And so last week we were doing some reflecting on the past, specifically because of this time in history and the election had just been called. We reflected on the last 4 years. And anybody who's still working on that piece, please feel free to share in Nowhere Village or today about that reflection. I had some powerful insights about how the Trump presidency and my personal life were really intertwined, and how much what's going on for us as a collective and what's been going on for me personally are mirrors of each other, and how much kind of interesting insight is there. And I'm curious to hear if anyone had any interesting insights as you dipped into that work yourself. This week, we're looking forward, but we're looking forward from what we did in meditation today, from first looking inward. What are your values? What are the qualities that you think this world really needs most? Turns out these are probably also the qualities that are already the most powerful qualities in the universe. That's why we are devoted to them, because they hold us together. Love and truth, I often say, are my highest values. And I often will add in this third one, which we call right relationship in shamanic practice. It might be called harmony, but it's really just really the way that love and truth express themselves in the universe is through right relationship. It's through you and me loving each other and being honest with each other. And that third piece, right relationship, reminds me of, if love and truth feel kind of abstract sometimes, reminds me of what I need to be looking for in this material world that gives me a sign that love and truth are thriving. And so by starting with this, again, it's like getting in touch with that inner compass, getting in touch with that inner wisdom to guide me forward, right? So that's the meditation work we've been doing. The inquiry of this week is, you know, what is your vision for a world where your values, you don't have to choose work with mine, though you could. I stand by them. And I have lots of scripture from lots of traditions that also says basically this is what we're made of, you know. But I've come to those in a way that has made them really resonate with me very deeply. And I would love for you to come to your own. But the question is, when your values are thriving, what does that world look like? And looking ahead a little bit, we are going to kind of come back to, we're going to get less abstract and less dreamy and come back to what are actual steps that you're going to take in 2021 so that you know that even if we don't, before these bodies, melt back into the sea, we may not see a world that's full of peace, but we can know that we've lived our lives walking in that direction, and that's the best we can do. We can know that however tough things get, that at the heart of us, that's there, and that can be an enormous power and an enormous source of peace. We may not get to a place where there's no darkness, but we can at least be lights walking through the world. Yeah. So the inquiry this week, I offered up to you in a couple of different ways. One is this values, like what are your values or these qualities, and then what's the world look like when those thrive. Another one was inspired by an exhibit that I visited in New Orleans while I was there. I already left. I know this is a whirlwind tour. When I was in New Orleans, I shared a lot about it in Nowhere Village, but it was a bunch of young Black New Orleans high schoolers who did this program with this great street artist and activist, where he asked them, "What's your radical freedom dream? What is your dream of a world where you and everyone else are actually free?" And I was just crying basically the whole time I was going through the exhibit. It was such a beautiful, it was so beautiful and inspiring to see that unleashed and to see the beauty that these young people envision for the world and for themselves. So that question is one version of our inquiry this week. I was inspired to bring it in. What is your radical freedom dream? And if you want more information about that exhibit or anything, go to Nowhere Village and look in the featured posts, and you'll see right away. And I'll add a couple more images and quotes that I found there that might inspire you later today and this week. And so now I'll just give you this brief update on me, and then I'm going to call you online, anybody who wants to unmute themselves and just share. And you're welcome to ask questions about this inquiry that is really ongoing over the next few weeks. So I have almost landed in a place where I will be for, bye Rachel, thank you so much. I have almost landed in a place where I'll be for about a month. I am in Fort Worth, Texas. This is where I was born, though I moved away when I was 7. I have a huge amount of family here, and my mom and my brothers resettled here. My brothers started families here. Um, and we had like a scheduling snafu with the Airbnb in New Orleans. And so we had to find a place to stay for a couple days and decided to just come on over to Fort Worth. And so we're in an Airbnb uh, in, in my old hometown. Um, I'll be sharing more about the experience here and about the trip as well in the future. I'm not going to go into it too much today, but I did get to see my brothers and my one of my nieces yesterday, and it feels really it feels really wonderful to be, after all of this traveling around, to be embraced by family again. Um, and it feels really good to know that we're not going to be on the road and kind of unpacking and repacking that car and stopping in all these different places. Um, and so I'm really giving myself the next few days to kind of, um, yeah, relax and rest and nourish. And then I'm going to decide where I'm going to be living for 2021 and possibly beyond. But and guess what? I'm doing our inquiry work in order to make that call. And so in many ways, I'm bringing you guys along for that inner journey, even though you're not necessarily on the road with me. It's probably better for you. Um, the inner work that I'm doing is the very work that I've been describing. I've been really thinking about where is the place where I see love and truth thriving, where are the places where the relationships seem caring and authentic and honest, where people are acknowledging each other's needs and boundaries, where people are seeing each other's gifts and each other's weaknesses without turning away or without competing. And I've been to a lot of beautiful places that are visually beautiful, right? And places where, whoa, I could have a really nice apartment for what I make. Or, places where, wow, I could have a really fun, cool nightlife here. But ultimately, I keep coming back to the relationship piece. And the most important thing for me right now is to feel like I've got a wolf pack, I've got a family, I've got community. And I'll be sitting with my values and my vision for the future over these next few days. And by next week, I should have some kind of revelation or announcement about how I'm going to put my feet on the ground and walk there. So that's my little talk and catch up with you guys for today. I will now open it up for those who are live. And if you are watching this video, please respond in the comments or make a little entry, write a little post on Nowhere Village to tell us how your work is going, how your reflections are coming along. And as always, reach out or ask questions if you need support.